If I were a podcast, I'd be talking about Fiddler on the Roof.
If I were a rich man, this podcast would have a lot better audio because we'd be in a studio. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say a frog and an alligator can never be together because even if they love each other, what would they make a podcast about? Hey, Swamperts, welcome back. We're going to Anatevka this week, talking about Fiddler on the Roof. You're listening to The Swamp. It's our podcast. It's an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
And we're doing movies that we had to watch in school. Mm-hmm. This was not a book, because this is Fiddler on the Roof is based on a stage musical, which is based on a series of short stories called Tevye the Dairyman, which I don't recall having to read, but I did have to watch this movie in
I was gonna say, where did this fit into the curriculum? Because I did not have to watch this.
I loved this class that I took in high school. It was called European Lit and Philosophy. Basically, in our high school, how it was you took like English 101 and 102, where you read all the like To Kill a Mockingbird, Of Mice and Men, like you did a bunch of the standards. And then you had to every year take a different English class, and there were all the different choices like American Lit, British Lit, Shakespeare, like all the different classes. But I was always like, I don't like Ralph Waldo Emerson, and I don't like Shakespeare, and I don't like poetry, and I don't like, any of that stuff. So I always tried to take the English classes that were more like not that kind of stuff, which there were few and far between. But I feel like these were the English classes where
at all?
No, never.
So they didn't make you watch Of Mice and Men?
No, Of Mice and Men we read in 101, the very first.
101. Okay, freshman, yes.
But I took this class called European Lit and Philosophy, and we read books, but also a lot of more like short stories and like short pieces. But we also watched a fuck ton of movies. Your sister Alyssa took this same class, and her and I often reminisce about the curriculum because it was a ton of movies. And the way our day was structured in high school, we had 4 classes, so each class was like over 90 minutes. So you could watch a movie in like 2 days, in 2 class periods. So if a teacher wanted to block out a considerable amount of time for in-class movie watching, that was super fair. Because it's we're doing a lot of reading. So that was like reading and stuff was all at home. So it was like, what are we doing during the day? We're watching Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah, I took a, what was it? Oh my God. I remember I had one week, I took a religions class in my senior year, and she decided to show us Schindler's List, just to,
to round things out.
Because of course, the entire week, everyone just left sobbing and just had to go finish the rest of their day.
Yeah, you have to go to gym now. You have to go take a math quiz. Like, what the fuck? No, but
they can really bomb your shit, but...
Because I feel like in that class, we watched a lot of movies that were stuff that we were reading and stuff that gave us a historical context for what we were reading, which is what I think Fiddler on the Roof was a little bit, because we definitely did a unit on, like, Russian literature.
Of course,
Which the only thing I remember reading from that was called The Overcoat by Gogol, and it was about a guy who gets bullied for having a tattered coat by his coworkers, so he saves up all his money and he buys a new coat, and then once he buys the new coat, he gets jumped and murdered, and then his ghost haunts everyone because of this coat, and that really stuck with me.
Yeah, that does sound like Russian literature, that's for sure.
So I remember watching this movie around that time, but in that class we also watched some other, because it was a quote-unquote philosophy class, we watched some really random shit that was just
went
like
buck wild.
Yeah, he was like, I'm gonna get these kids thinking.
I feel like that's a class too you take like junior year, senior year as well. So your brain has a little more of the capacity to be like, oh wow.
Which I was a try-hard, and even though we were only required to take one English class a year, I doubled up and I took 2 a year. If I could fit 2 in a semester, I would, but I would always do 2 a year. So I was like ahead of everyone. So I was always in English classes with kids who are a few years older than us who like I didn't really know. So it was
Didn't
also
you take,
just like
sports lit or some shit like that.
No, that was in college. That was a class in college.
Okay.
But I remember being shown this movie and being like, wait, this is amazing. Almost all the movies we were shown in that class I remember really, really enjoying.
Ripped.
But this one in particular really stuck with me. Tevye the Dairyman. Tradition. I mean,
it starts out hard as fuck. Tradition. And it's like a 9-minute song.
And it's amazing.
Bring that back.
And a returning of a theme, right? A theme restated throughout. And this is a 3-hour-long film, and I'm not going to say it flies by, but
it does.
It earns the 3-hour runtime, and it's got a little intermish, so you can walk up and get your snack, and as all 3-hour movies should, a little intermission. But yeah, tell me what brought Fiddler about on your life recently? Me?
Okay, so it was the beautiful power of TikTok and theater kids, essentially, is I don't know if you're on this side of TikTok, but there's been sort of a trending audio. I can't even say trending because there's maybe like 1,000 videos of it or something like that. But Sarah Vosk performed as Fruma Sarah.
I've seen this
in 2016. And so that was something, it was like, it came onto my timeline and I had never seen Fiddler. I never listened to it really. But it got really stuck in my head because she fucking kills it, obviously. So I was sitting there and I talked to some friends and I was like, is it worth it? And then I saw, like, is it, because, you know, a 3-hour-long movie. I don't really know what it's about. It's a musical. I was pretty skeptical. I know little to nothing about Judaism. We grew up. I grew like so
a soft Catholicism. I would say for context for both of us, we were both raised a little bit in the Catholic Church, but we're not beholden to that as adults by our families.
Yes.
And have since departed.
I got my confirmation name.
I don't even. I left before that. I remember I was going to, I got my first communion, I remember, and then I had to take the classes that for confirmation, and it was, the church has this program called Theology
CCD?
of the Body. Yeah, CCD. Well, no, but our CCD specifically for when you're a sophomore in high school to get confirmed was called Theology of the Body, and they basically, even though it never up to that point was like hateful or any, you know, it's just very generic, like church community type stuff. And then all of a sudden they were like, if you're gay, you're gonna die. If you want to have sex, you're gonna die. You're going to hell. Like, and it was just very aggressive all of a sudden. And I told my mom about it. She's like, you don't have to go to that. So I didn't have to get confirmed, which since I would say we both what are like non-denominationally agnostic, like very not. I don't consider myself a religious or even like a spiritual person. I don't really have a lot of like connections with, I don't know, like spiritual stuff even outside of religion personally.
But anyway, so I was playing around with, I was like, I wanted to watch something and I was sold on Fiddler because I saw someone online say, you know what, here's what it's about. Like, you don't know, like, oh yeah, you don't know what you're getting into, blah, 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 blah. But it's about a dad doing his best. And I said, yeah, I can watch that. I can get down with that.
Dad.
It's about a girl dad trying his best. And obviously I strapped in, and now you can ask Lauren, it's become like my Roman Empire for the last 3 weeks. Because I haven't really stopped talking about it. Like, it'll come up maybe every like 3 days or something.
You're like cooking, and you're like, tradition!
Exactly. Yeah. Like, I'm at my desk in the office just humming If I Were a Rich Man over and over and over. I don't know the words still, but I don't think you really need to.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the whole thing.
But did you watch it just by yourself, just chilling?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Exactly. It was really fun because, like, you know, sometimes for the pod, it does feel like I'm like, okay, I'm on a, like, it's
I'm clocking
like
in.
I'm clocking in. Exactly. It's my day off. I know that I need to do this. So watching this of my own volition was really fun, and I was just really wowed. I've been wanting to watch a lot more older movies this year, and this was a great way to kick it off.
Yeah, this movie, it came out in 1971, but the stage musical was in 1964. And obviously it's based in like imperialist czarist Russia at the turn of the 20th century. So this is pre-World War I and World War II. So we're getting like, yeah, early 1900s, like Tale of Settlement. They call it Russia, but I think where they are is like technically Ukraine. Because of, you know, the imperialism and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's really crazy to me. 1964, like World War II had been what, like not even 20 years ago, right? So this musical, I think, was one of the first major things to bring like a picture of happy Jewish life to major audiences, especially in America, right? Like something that, I mean, it is about oppression and it is about struggle, but
yes.
also it's a beautiful, lovely picture. Like I'm bought in. I'm like, I would love to live there and be a part of this community and sing and dance. And it seems very, you know, desirable and yeah,
absolutely.
It's with as much grief as there is in this, it's also full of a lot of joy too, and I think that is what really hit people.
That's the whole thing, yeah.
And like very universal themes, right, of change and feeling obstinate to change, but accepting that it needs to happen, and you know, especially the father and the daughter. I feel like that's something that's relatable. Like a lot of the main points of this, even though they're about Judaism, are about any person in any culture can relate to the themes of this movie, which is why I think it's so successful as a musical and a film. Because yeah, like we said, neither of us are Jewish, but I'm like fully so bought in, and I feel like I get it too. They explain the religion too and the customs without it feeling like pandery or like overly complicated or preachy even. It's just like, this is how our life is, this is the way we do things, you know, these are our values, and then here's a story about it, which I feel like is pretty rare. Especially, I was just trying to think of like a primarily Christian piece of media that does something like this, and I couldn't really think of one like that presents the religion in a way that doesn't feel like preachy or like, I don't know, kind of forced upon.
Yeah. Honestly, my follow-up movie, what is it? The Sound of Music. They're like, here, girl, you're a nun, but we'll let you go. If that's what you're meant to be, that's what you're meant to be. Yeah, don't marry that beautiful man.
No, The Sound of Music is really similar to Fiddler in a lot of ways of like pacing too, I think, right?
Yeah,
like,
they got that good 3 hour.
And it's like the life of the family, and we're learning about the family. But then in the second act and at the end, it's like
the politics come in.
The bigger picture of like what's happening in the world, and now we're reconciling with that. Yeah, while I was watching this, I was actually thinking, because I hadn't seen Sound of Music the first time I had watched this movie, you know, like a decade ago. And now I was like, oh, I see some similarities of like musicals of this era, because I consider myself a musical fan, but I'm not like deep in it, and especially the older musicals, like the ones from the 60s and stuff, I'm not as familiar with.
This made me want to dive in though, especially considering the state of musicals today. Abysmal.
We discussed this a little bit in a recent episode, but I think it's far more relevant here. It's like the movie musical, right? Like the modern day movie musical is so eviscerated from its former glory. Like if you just look at Wicked,
eviscerated is a great way to put it.
Like look at what they did to Wicked. This 2-part bullshit. This adding to the story where it doesn't need to be expounded upon, the structure of the song numbers, the lack of group dance numbers, like just the whole thing I feel like it's sucking all the joy out of what makes a stage production exciting to watch, and cinemafying it in a way that is not good. I don't know, like isn't adding anything to it per se. Yeah, the Wicked movies were garbage. Almost all modern movie musicals are just pretty bad.
It's the whole thing of if you tell me that you are like a massive Wicked fan in the way of like the movies, I'm gonna assume that you're not a fan of musicals, you're a fan of Marvel. That's not that just doesn't it doesn't feel like a movie music. It doesn't feel like a musical to me, period.
Right. I will assume you're a child who is a fan of Ariana Grande,
exactly.
which is
fair.
So
you're 12. You're 12.
But yeah, you're a kid, and maybe you should watch the classics like Fiddler on the Roof. Okay, you're gonna sit your ass down. And you're gonna learn about Tevye the Dairyman.
Exactly. Well, I don't know, man. It's just we pulled up before we started. Like, I got a list of like all the movie musicals just generally off of Wikipedia. But I'm looking at like the chunk for 2008 afterwards, which I'll like leave Les Mis out of this because I did enjoy her. Don't get me wrong. But like it's all dog shit. All of it's dog shit. And it's also like this weird I don't know, like almost byproduct of like these movie musicals that weren't stage productions beforehand. Like I don't agree with La La Land being listed there. I don't agree with The Greatest Showman being there.
That's not what we're talking about here.
Yes.
Well, wasn't
no.
like,
but at the same time, like I think it's strange to me that
culturally for it to be recognized in the same breath, especially just like by Google, by the AI that runs Google is like, oh, there's music in this, so it's a musical. No, you idiot.
I'm like, sing. It's not the same thing, guys.
Sing and not sing.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm waiting for the day that someone produces me like an actual good movie musical that I think has legs to stand on, because we're going on 20 years now or something like that.
Yeah, because I think about the ones immediately. I'm like, what is a good movie musical that like strikes me? And I'm like, Chicago. And
yes,
right. And truly, it's been like 20 years. And are we just running out of material? Are we just losing the joie de vivre that comes with the theater?
Well, it's because we're now like it's like a it's just a circle jerk, basically. Like right now in Boston at the ART, they've got a new musical for Wonder, which was a book, which then became a movie. I think the one with Julia Roberts or some shit like that.
Yep.
And so now it's just nothing is original. We're just circle jerking the same media over and over and over again.
Yeah, no new IP. Everyone has to use an existing IP.
Don't get me wrong. The Betty Boop musical sounds fantastic.
Boop!
At the same time, I don't know, guys. I'm looking for a little something else.
I'll pose you a question.
Give me more Oh Mary energy.
I'm seeing Oh Mary this weekend. I'll report back. Is
Jinx there?
I'm so excited. Yes. For Christmas, I gathered some pennies together and I bought some Jinx Monsoon Oh Mary tickets for me and some buddies, and we're gonna go. I'm so freaking excited.
Please report back. That's gonna be fantastic.
Huge Jinx fan, huge Drag Race fan. And I love to go to the theater. I love to make a little trip into the city and see a show. My mom and I, that's something we love to do together, Jen and I, to see a little Broadway moment. And I feel like I've seen some good ones and I've seen some bad ones too. So I feel like I do have a pretty good palette, I guess, of it's not just like, oh, we're here and it's so exciting. Like I've seen a few stinkers, so I feel like I know what it's like to be disappointed.
Wait, can you give me some notable stinkers?
The Spider-Man musical. I don't even know why we went and saw that one, but we went and saw. This was a long time ago, but somebody had passed away.
That's like that was like 2013 or some shit.
Yeah, somebody died, and so I think we saw it like for really cheap after. So there was no.
Oh my god!
There was no rigging. Like there was no wires.
I'm sure.
Because of the accident. So it was, maybe that one was...
That's so fucked. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm just shocked that they didn't immediately shut it down.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
You couldn't do that in today's day and age.
I saw an incredibly unfortunate understudy perform as Dear Evan Hansen. And that was really tough. I got to see.
Who were you supposed to see? Who was doing it?
So it wasn't anyone famous. It wasn't anyone like super of note. But it was particularly, they were like, that day, this is the understudy. I did get to see Mike Feist perform.
Your boy.
Yeah, that's
your boyfriend.
That's basically why like I wanted to go. I was like, we gotta go for Mike Feist. And was it worth it? Like honestly, maybe not, because he's not even.
He has about 3 songs, right?
Yeah, he's like not even in it. He's mostly just like haunting the narrative, but he's like not even really in it. He was amazing to see in person. Like,
oh, I'm sure.
Electric. But the kid who played Evan Hansen was so bad.
Oh my god.
So abysmally not in tune. And I'm like, how did you even get this job? This is really upsetting.
Yeah, I felt that way. My mom is a huge Hamilton fan, and Leslie Odom Jr. Did a rerun there this past year, and so we went and we saw it, and obviously he's fantastic and everything like that, but the guy that was playing Hamilton opposite of him
was bad.
I was like, oh my god.
Was he like trying to do an LMM, or like what was his issue?
No, it was just, I'm like, honestly, you could just tell his heart wasn't in it.
Same. Honestly, if they were like, you have to get up there and rap about the Constitution, I too would be phoning it in.
Exactly. So, no, it felt very, I don't know if Leslie was just like, it had like, Bruno Mars style gambling debts, right, to pick up a check or two, but yeah, it is funny the way that Broadway works like that. It's like, oh, you might just get a bomb.
I know, especially because I'm always traveling. We always prefer to see like the afternoon show rather than the night show.
Sure,
what do you call it? The matinee.
The matinee.
We go to the matinee because it's fits with the pacing of our day. If we want to go there and go home and not have to stay in the city, which is like wildly expensive. So I feel like they always put in the understudies or like the B team for the matinee. So I've definitely, but I've seen some understudies who've been like, you get the little thing in your playbill that's like, oh, so and so will be, replacing the role of whoever today. And I've seen some, I think our Elphaba when we saw Wicked was an understudy, and it was like one of the most groundbreaking, like to watch somebody sing like that in real life is like so moving.
Oh yeah.
But so Fiddler on the Roof is a tale. Tevye the Dairyman, he's our narrator, and he does some fourth wall breaking where he talks to us, but mostly he talks to God in these fourth wall breaks where he's like, God, why are you doing this to me? Pretty much.
Which I think is such a beautiful, way to present the narrative as well.
Yeah, and it makes us feel closer to our speaker, but also immediately like understanding Tevye's relationship with God specifically, because that's like the foundation for all these, traditions and lifestyle choices, right? And the way that ebbs and flows and sort of changes throughout the movie, you can see him talking to God being like, I'm struggling with this, which is a very real representation of religion to me. It's somebody being
can
like,
you help a brother out?
Yeah, like, hey, 1-to-1, I'm having a hard time here, turning to religion for answers. That's, as like I said, like not a very religious or spiritual person. That resonated with me even. Just like shouts out to the guy upstairs, what the hell? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you making this shit so hard? And he's always complaining too, which I love. He's always like, hey, what the hell, man?
Yeah, I do love his character, though, because he does always acknowledge, though, he's like, I am so lucky to have what I have. But he's not blind to the fact that he's like, hey, dude, I'm kind of getting shafted here. I'm grateful, but also help me.
5 daughters, no dowry.
Oh my god. Yeah, no. Well, here's the thing that I love about this musical as well is you don't hear a peep out of him complaining about his 5 daughters, which I feel like is so inherent in any sort of media that's like, oh, all the girls, oh, the girl dad, look at this girl dad here. He loves his family. He is happy to have those $5. He is #blessed.
Yeah, I agree for every, I have no dowry for the daughters. Five daughters. There's an equal, my life is beautiful and I love my family. It's about the balance for sure. But yeah, it's about Tevye, and he's married to Golda, and together they have 5 daughters, but we mainly focus on the oldest 3 who are all of age where they could be getting married, and that's Zeidel, Hodel, and Hava. And the 3 of them basically are like waiting around for this matchmaker because their family doesn't have a lot of money. I thought a dowry, I'm so dumb. I thought the bride gets the dowry, right? Because it's like, thanks for your daughter, here's a cow, exchange, right? This is my...
No, because women were burdens, Tara.
I know, but I even thought, on a more...
please take my daughter from me.
On a more misogynistic level, I thought it was daughter for a cow, a bride for a cow, right? Because he goes to Laser Wolf.
That seems fair.
To me, I'm like, Laser Wolf should be paying Tevye for Zeidel, not the other way around.
Honestly, yes.
But I misinterpreted what...
That's just how bargaining works. If you want to marry my daughter, what are you going to do for me?
That scene where he thinks he's selling the cow and Laser Wolf thinks he's getting a bride, and the two of them are talking about two totally different things. So funny. Also, Laser Wolf, the best name anyone has ever had.
That was not one that I expected to hear in this movie, and I said, oh, that's gas.
Laser Wolf.
He's not a bad guy either.
He's just old, and
he's old and lonely,
and following the traditions, doing what men of this time did, which is just find a new young bride, and that's fine. But this is all about the breaking of tradition and tradition. And basically, it's his 3 daughters, and each of them strays from tradition in the category of marriage, specifically in a way that is more than the last. So his first daughter, Zeidel, she is a part of this arrangement that's going down. The matchmaker is trying to help them all get husbands because they have no money. So she's trying to find, a good situation for them, even though she's kind of useless and she's just stealing cookies, and she's so funny. She shows up and is like, I have news. And then she steals a whole meal, and then she goes to leave, and Golda's like, what's the news? And she's like, oh yeah, the news. Right. The news.
Oh, sorry.
The matchmaker is such a funny. I was thinking of dream roles. If I was a theater person, what would my dream role for this show be? And I definitely being the matchmaker would be so funny. Yeah. But obviously Frumasera, obviously to get around in the dream sequence.
Don't get me started.
To be Frumasera is so iconic.
It's just, especially, I don't know if you've ever seen the way they adapt it for the stage, but at least I saw Sarah Vosk posted, a clip of her performing it, and you're on these big sort of, it's a big platform, and it's a gigantic dress, and it's kind of similar to what they do in the movie, but the giant long fingernails, and they get you looking so ghoulish, and then you have a chain of pearls around your neck. It is so fucking cunt. Oh my god. I think having that sort of role on Broadway where you come out and do 1, maybe 2 songs has got to be the fucking best.
Right. Yeah. I feel those are people that usually make them be background villagers, right? They're you're going to have to.
Sure.
But I feel with Frumasera, since you're in the white ghost paint, you don't have to do background scenes, because I'm waiting in the wings fully painted gray, ready for my moment, and then afterwards I'm still painted gray. I can't be a village person.
That's it. It's going to take me 2 hours to wipe this off, guys.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I'm already at the bar by the time the show is over.
Exactly. I'll save you a seat. No, I will say though, okay, I think just about one of the only criticisms I have of this movie, and this is not, this is just for just about every musical, is that I do think that this one is not spared from the second half being just worse comparatively. And it's one of those, I think so few musicals can actually keep up the second half. I think Chicago does a great job of it. But yeah, this one it's just banger after banger to start.
Yeah, I was watching this with Henry.
Tradition, If I Was a Rich Man.
Yes.
Matchmaker.
I was watching this with Henry, who had never seen this before, and was it after If I Was a Rich Man? He was like, he was like, it just peaked there. He's like, bummer to know this just peaked. Obviously, still loved it, like really enjoyed the rest of it. And
of course,
there are good songs throughout, and especially the return of the themes too. It's like you get parts of those songs from the beginning that were so iconic,
of course,
peppered throughout. But yeah, it's in the beginning they do all the bangers up front, and then it's like we're just sort of left.
I think it's a lot of like, honestly, quantity-wise as well, is there's maybe 4 songs in the second half where they really front-load you. I do think the quality here is even throughout. The song Anatevka is devastating to end the film. But yeah, it's gonna slap because first things first, you see John Williams' name come across your fucking screen. I had no idea.
Amazing. Did you also know?
I almost screamed.
Did you know that the director of this film, Norman Jewison, which, funny enough, not Jewish.
The name is familiar. I'm sure we've covered his shit here.
He made your favorite movie, Moonstruck.
Yep, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
And he did the movie version of Jesus Christ Superstar as well. I think he's got a bunch of really iconic, both movie musical and just movies that he's made. But yeah. I'm
going to have to get into it.
Yeah, I think the production team of this movie is full of a bunch of brilliant people. The guy who did the cinematography, I believe, won the Oscar for this movie. What a beautiful film.
As he should.
The way this movie is shot, the colors, the landscape, like, even though we're in
Which
this
is so awesome,
really like simple village, everything looks so rich and beautiful, and the characters and the people, like, I feel like I just haven't seen a movie that looks like this in so long.
Yeah, I found it really impressive because it was so much brown, and I'm like, oh, it's still stunning.
Yeah, everything is tan. Yeah, and knitwear. Everyone's wearing brown knitwear, and yet it looks visually stunning, which is, so hard to do.
No, I was really sold on everyone's performances as well. I really liked, I'm not sure the actress's names here. This is not going to be one where we toggle back and forth, but whoever played Zeidel, I really loved her. I thought from the jump, she sucked me, and especially during Matchmaker, where she's the one clowning her sisters. I was like, oh, we're in the character, huh?
Yeah, she was very much giving me like Jo March, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And she played really well off of whoever they cast to be her nerd of a husband.
Oh my god, Motel. Zeidel and Motel. So basically Zeidel's the oldest daughter, and she is set to marry Laser Wolf, who's the butcher, who's also 65 years old. And she is
rich as fuck.
Yeah, he's got a nice house. And she's
loaded.
She's probably 20. She's a young woman. And she's grown up with this friend, Motel, who is a tailor, but he's poor as fuck. Doesn't even have a sewing machine. Call yourself a tailor? Tailoring what, Modal? But basically, Modal's this, like, bumbling, geeky, kind of awkward guy. He keeps trying to express to Tevye that he wants to marry Zeidel, but he just can't really find the time to say it, and he doesn't really feel like he has a good argument because he has no money. But basically, it's approaching closer and closer that Zeidel is going to have to lock in this deal with Laser Wolf. And basically, she then says to her father, like, she breaks down and is like, this is not what I want. And then he has to face in that moment, like, do I uphold this deal with this man that I made, and we all drank about it and celebrated about it, and I'll be embarrassing him and turning my back on this word that I made with him? Or do I, and she says, like, you know, she's like, you would choose a deal over me, your daughter. And in that moment, he sort of is like weighing the options, which he never had considered before, that women should get to choose, or that she would ever have a thought or an opinion about it. And Modal then does come in and tries his best to make an argument. He's like, she won't starve. I'm gonna get a sewing machine. It's gonna be chill. And Tevia's like, all right, whatever. Shut up, Modal. Zeidel, I love you. You can
Shut the fuck up.
you can do what you want, basically. His love for his daughter. And then it's like that leeway that he gives to her then opens up this sort of crack of opportunity for the other daughters, where they're like,
it's just dominoed.
I see that it can be different for me because it was different for her. And then Hodel, the second oldest daughter, she falls in love with their teacher. He's like this traveler guy. He's a student, and he comes into town, and he's like,
he's a revolutionary.
And he's like, yeah, you guys are reading the news, but you don't know anything about the world. And everyone in the village is like, yeah, why would we care? And he's like, because it's gonna fucking affect you, and you're gonna get kicked out. He doesn't say that, but he's basically like, shit is changing, and you need to pay attention to it. And all the old people in the village are like, we don't care. But then Tevye does always have a little bit of a willingness to accept.
He's curious. Yeah.
And we see him be friendly with the Gentiles, the non-Jewish townsfolk and stuff. Like, we see him be friendly with them. We see him, he generally is like an open person, like an open, friendly person who is willing to hear people out.
If you're kind to me, I'm kind to you kind of situation.
But then once it puts his religious values into somewhat conflict, it's like, that's what we're dealing with in the story. And Perchik is basically like, I don't have anywhere to go. And Tevye is like, oh, you can come teach my daughters, which is pretty, like, not common of the time.
Also a big deal.
Yeah. He's like, you can come stay and teach my daughters. So already, like, pretty progressive. And then Hodel falls in love with Perchik. And there's this great, like, proposal scene where basically he is like, marriage is an economic proposition.
It was very Little Women coded.
Yes.
I had that. I heard that and I said, okay, Greta, I see you.
Yeah. Very much, that same speech that
Amy March monologue.
And Perchik is like, I understand that you as a woman have this economic standing to consider when weighing a marriage proposal, but like, this is what, this is my pitch to you. And I love, she's like, and there also has to be affection, right? And he's like, yeah, right. But they're a great couple. I think they're probably my favorite couple of the movie.
Yeah, well, I feel like we get I don't know. I wish that we got more of our final couple, honestly, because it does kind of come out of nowhere. It feels a little squished.
They both like to read.
I guess it's probably I'm like,
what?
I guess
like read what? He's like, we can discuss our thoughts, but then we never see them discussing thoughts.
Right? That's my thing. I'm like, I feel like they give us, generally you get less and less as we go through the movie of each daughter's relationship.
We're running out of time. We're running out of songs.
Exactly, which I suppose is how Tevye would see it, because he's at least known Modal his whole life and everything like that, and
Perchik has been around. This Gentile.
He lives.
He's like, I don't know this man.
Exactly. Who are you? So I think that is probably intentional, but I do wish that I got a little more understanding of just why this woman wants to marry him.
Yeah, Fiedka the third rogue.
I'm like, he's pretty, I get it.
Boyfriend. It's Hava the third daughter. She meets this non-Jewish boy out on a walk one day, and they basically connect over both loving books, and then immediately she's like, I have to have a conversation with my father about marriage. And obviously Tevye, this is the point where Tevye is like, I cannot put up with this. He's like,
you pushed me too far.
He's like, I'm putting up with a lot these days, but this is simply something, what does he say? Like, if I bend too far, I'll break, and this is gonna break me. So he says no.
Which fair.
And he outcasts Hava from the family. They basically like exile her, and they're like, you
less fair.
Because she does elope They do elope. They have a secret marriage.
Oh, yeah.
A secret Christian marriage at the church. And and that does not go over well
Very
with the
not
family.
chill. That is not chill of her, I will say.
But then at this time in the movie, it's like we're getting the religious persecution where the military is coming in and telling the Jewish people that they have 3 days to leave and that they're going to be run out of their hometown and that they just have to find somewhere new. And they're like, oh, Tevye, we thought you might be saved because of your daughter's marriage. Like, because your daughter is married to a Gentile, there was a chance that maybe your family could get to stay. But Tevye doesn't, he's like, that's not my kid. He's like, I don't care. He's like, I would never turn my back on the Jewish people, for, you know, for my daughter. But then they do come around as at the end of the film, as they're all exiting Anatevka and they're like figuring out where the fuck they're going to go next. They're like, America ? Hava does come through and she's like, we're leaving too because we don't like that this is how things are here. So we're going to leave and I would like to say goodbye. And basically it's like pulling teeth, but eventually they do say goodbye and they tell her where they're going to be in America so that they can reconnect. And it's like sort of this olive branch. New York
City, baby.
Even though it's like our lives are going to be so far apart and so different now, it's still like an olive branch between them to like continue the relationship or just show that it's not completely over for their family. And then the other two daughters don't even have names. I'm like, well, who even were they? But they're like 9 and 10. Like, I love it. They're just chilling. They're like, okay, I guess I'll find
exactly.
Guess I'll find a husband in New York.
Oh my god. Can we talk about the dancing a little bit here? Because I think that's, again, one of the things that we don't get from modern musicals. I feel like over Christmas, I showed my sister West Side Story, the Steven Spielberg one, because I said, okay, we need some performances. And I will say, don't get me wrong, Ansel Elgort in that movie is horrific. Ass. Mike Faced in that movie doing his little high kicks and dances and flips. Amazing. I think there's a lot that I love about that movie, but watching that I was like, yeah, we don't get dancing anymore. We don't get real dancing. You know, the most you get is like the fucking La La Land dance a couple of years ago or whatever.
Or like in Hamilton, we're gonna do some acrobatics. We're gonna do a cartwheel. It's like, I don't want to see a cartwheel.
No, I want real dancing.
I want a bottle on the
real
head.
Dancing. Oh my god! Because here's the thing: is that you have the whole big dance number Into Life, which you think is going to be the dance number, you know, and then. It's all the Gentiles, basically. Yes. And then it's all the Jews show up for Seidel's wedding.
Into Life, it's the most organic dance battle that I've ever seen unfold. Like, that's a big pain point for me in musicals, is that often the transition of acting and acting normal and then breaking out into song feels really corny. But in this movie, it always like kind of worked. And especially the dancing in the club, they're all drinking and celebrating that Laser Wolf and Seidel are going to get married. And basically it's this first moment where it's like, the Jewish people are dancing and then the Russian Gentiles are over here, but they want to celebrate too because they're like, this is exciting. But then it does turn into like a kind of dance battle because the Jewish people are dancing in their way and then the Gentiles come in and just start being
hot as hell.
So aggro too. Like the on the knees, on the knees, like pulling up, but like in a friendly way. It just felt so like, yeah, we're doing a dance battle, but this is for a key. Like this is all fun and games, which that whole sequence is so amazing.
Because here's the sequence is fantastic, and like you said, it's on the knees. It comes in hot and aggressive, right? And you do kind of leave, at least in my opinion, I left that one saying, I was like, okay, they kind of won. They kind of won that dance battle, you know, the Gentiles. And then about 25 minutes later,
At Zeidel and Moto's wedding. Yeah.
Zeidel and Moto's wedding. And they were like, oh, sorry, we just weren't in our element. Sorry, you want our best dancers? Here's our best dancers. And they do the whole thing with the bottles on the head and like the knee walking. And it is just insane, dude. Like, just seeing skill like that on display, I feel like is not something that you get in a lot of movies today.
Right. Or it's something that I would expect out of a stage production, but that wouldn't get translated to the movie. Like, oh, we're not going to do the big dance break in the movie. Like, no one wants to see that. No, that's exactly what I want to see. I love that Zeidel is like, Zeidel and Moto have to have their wedding in a barn because there has to be a dusty floor because the Bottle Boys, need to hit those dance moves, and the dust coming up from the ground as they're sweeping their legs.
Oh my god,
so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's I gotta give him that. Oh my god, that's probably like a high point of the movie. And then of course they come and they bring it crashing down immediately after.
Yeah, high highs and low lows, because then the police come in and they break everything up. And they had told Tevye, they were like, there's gonna be a little demonstration, we like you, so we'll give you the heads up. But it's like, at his daughter's wedding, bro, you're giving Tevye the heads up. You're giving Tevye the heads up, but it's not like, hey, and also we're gonna do it at your daughter's wedding. Like, or I guess I don't know if that had been intentional, but
you could have just not done it at my daughter's wedding, and you did it at my birthday,
and you sucking dick and cock, and you did it at my birthday dinner. I appreciated the portrayal of the head, like, military police guy who comes off as being apologetic, and he's like, Tevye, I like you, you're a good guy. But there's always this, like, power dynamic and this, like, fundamental disrespect between the two of them. Yes. Like, he's always talking down to Tevye, and he's like, oh, like, your people, and, oh, you understand how it is. We just have to do this because it's orders are orders, right? Which is such a cop mentality. That's something across all of history and now presently, themes that resonate is cops being like, oh, well, I'm just doing my job. I feel like having him be this, like, evil, deeply anti-Semitic, terrible character would have worked, but just as equally it works with him being, like, complicit. That's more telling, because I feel like that is often the case. It's like,
well, yeah, I think that language is so smart, and especially we started this podcast talking about how this was sort of, the first really, or not the first, we weren't here in 1964 to say, but, like, very pro, or just, like, just very Jewish media to be created during that period of time. But, like, I think bringing it back to that and doing that, I mean, it's just the whole, that's Nazi shit.
Right.
I'm following orders. It's like, oh, girls, here's the thing. This has been happening.
Yeah. And you have,
by the way,
and you have the right,
it was a one-time thing,
and it is your right to say no, and as you should, right? Like, have a fucking backbone.
It just ties together so much so well. Honestly, I feel like this is a great sort of big picture movie.
Yeah, the general themes are very clearly stated and easy to understand, and like,
a great one for Mr. Berthiem to show in class, honestly.
Right. And I got
he was right.
a bit of knowledge about what the Pale of Settlement was in imperialist Russia, and you get a little bit about the revolution as well with Perchik, because Perchik goes to St. Petersburg, right, to participate in basically the revolution, really. He's going to advocate for workers' rights and the rights of the people, and to push back against the Tsar. And then he gets sent to a prison camp in Siberia. And then Hodel is like, I have to go be with him because we are going to be married.
That's my man.
And she's like, I'm going to go and work and set up a place for us to be once he gets out. And then it's beautiful for me to think that I'd like to think that after this musical movie ends, that they make it and that they are successful, because the Russian Revolution is successful then in the coming years, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, this is just the beginning, but it's like, Perchik, you were right. You were there and you're going to do it. You're going to do the thing that you are setting out to do.
Stay in line.
Right? Yeah, stay in the prison camp in Siberia because you're going to get out. And, I mean, if he, you know, theoretically he gets out and then they get to continue their revolutionary work. I like to imagine, you know, we get our sequels, right? We get the sequel about,
of course,
Perchik and Hodel overthrowing the Tsar. I want the sequel about Laser Wolf finding love in Chicago. I want to find out the other two daughters in New York City. Like, what are they getting up to? Yeah, it's a movie that makes you care about the characters.
Can I tell you my picture for Tevye in New York City? Because it does tie in with my food and drink here. But of course, this movie takes place in 1905. Just about, you know, they moved to New York. Katz's Deli opened in 1888. If there's anything that man deserves, it's a big sandwich for a big boy.
It's a Reuben.
I need Tevye to have a big ass pastrami and just get to relax for a second.
Yeah.
And that's what I say you watch with this movie. And then you just do a little vodka. You can pickleback it if you want.
I was looking into, so they're often drinking clear liquor, which at first I was like, this must just be vodka. But then they call it schnapps at one point, and they're like, schnapps. And I was like, what kind of schnapps?
Okay.
Because to me, I'm like, a schnapps is, you say, a flavor. Peppermint schnapps, peach schnapps, like it's a flavor. I was like, they're just calling it schnapps. But then I did some Googling, and it turns out that European and, you know, older in history, what is referred to as schnapps is not necessarily what we think of as schnapps, because I'm thinking of like Dr. McGillicuddy's. Like, I'm thinking of some like
that's offensive.
Well, like heinously flavored clear liquor. That's what schnapps is to me. And you don't ever drink it by itself. You put it with something else. Again, unless you're ripping a McGillicuddy's nip, which is I think nasty business.
I think European schnapps is like actual legit.
It is just like fruit. It's like fruit brandy, basically, like fruit liquor that is then distilled until it's clear. So it is like a fruity, it's like dry, fruity, clear spirits, pretty much.
Okay.
Because I was like, is it peppermint? Because to me, I'm always like, peppermint schnapps. I'm like, schnapps are minty. I was like, ew, is that what they're ripping? But no,
Disgusting.
It's different. It's different. But I do think, I think you should go 1 for 1 with Tevye. And once he starts drinking at Laser Wolf's house, which is,
don't stop.
You have to match him. And
I think it's a great idea.
I mean, get McGillicuddy's if you hate yourself, but also just get a fruity clear liquor of your choice. Maybe a nice...
Yeah, whatever speaks to you. Soju it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's globalize this a little bit, because I'm not trying to have peach schnapps while I'm watching Fiddler on the Roof.
No. What are you trying to eat with this, though? What speaks to you?
I feel like what they show in the movie for food that is just like, oh, I want it, is the challah bread. He's like,
of course, immediately,
at one point,
taking it out of the oven, steaming.
Oh, and he's just holding up this like loaf of challah bread at one point in the movie, like while he's talking to God, and it just is like so. I'm like, oh, I want that. And then in the scene where he meets Perchik in the town, he's like, here's some cheese. And Perchik's like,
oh, he gives him a slab.
And he gives him a hunk of, at first what I thought was like Parmesan, like a hard cheese, because it's on a wheel. But then Perchik immediately dives into it, and it's soft. Like he's gobbling it up, so it looks soft. So I feel like a nice soft cheese and a bread is like very homey and what I want in this movie. And then we went to Poland together, and
we did. We did go to Poland.
And the food there is very distinct. Something I loved about the Polish people is their use of dill, specifically with potatoes. Like, they eat a lot of potatoes, just in many forms, like mashed potatoes, potato dumplings, potato everything. But there was always, it's just like well seasoned, and I just remember having dill mashed potatoes often with meals, and I was like, that shit slaps. So as far as Eastern European cuisine that I would have for this film? Definitely some dill mashed potatoes and maybe
some zoopy.
Yes. And then rip some McGillicuddy's 1-for-1 with Tevye and wake up having pledged your daughter to the butcher. Hungover as fuck.
I love that. That's the whole thing of like you get a full like 5 minutes of what's his wife's name again?
Frumasera. Oh no, Golda.
No.
Golda.
Of Golda being like, "Hey, you're fucking hungover, Dad, up yet?"
and she's like, "What's the
news? Wake up!" Yeah.
What's the news? Golda's always looking for the news. She's like, "What is the news?" No one will tell her.
I know. She says, "Oh my god, she could manage a business like it was nothing."
She's managing those daughters.
That's for sure. But fuck, marry, kill.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Who's on the table?
Tevye, Golda, Laser Wolf.
Yeah, honestly.
Or wait, do we want to do Tevye, Laser Wolf, and the Fiddler? Do we want to include the Fiddler? Because he's a guy that we see, and we see him on the roof, but we also see him like chilling at the wedding, and we see him he's doing a dance.
He's which also I'm like he's the personification of Jewishness as well.
Yeah, he is the physical manifestation of the Jewish spirit, and
yes,
it's beautiful because at the end of the movie too, he's like he comes with them.
He said, "There's no roof. We're on the move again. Here we go." And he's just following the family down the road. It's awesome.
And it's amazing the movie, the first, like, minute explains to you, like, okay, this movie's called Fiddler on the Roof. This is why. Is this a metaphor about, you know, he's on the roof and he's trying to squeak out a tune.
Balance.
Yeah, he's trying to play a tune without trying to break his neck. And why does he stay up there? Because it's his home. And that's why we are, and in a way, we are all the Fiddler on the Roof. Like, there's no confusion about who this is. It's a metaphorical personification. Mm-hmm. And then they bring him back and it's not questioned. It's just really good, straightforward storytelling that I feel like, again, is remiss in a lot of modern media. But I guess I'm gonna...
Is it offensive if I say I want to fuck the Fiddler?
I do want to fuck the Fiddler. No, because he's like kind of saucy and he's kind of like mysterious and with it. Yeah, I agree.
The music in this movie is also beautiful.
Oh yeah,
just to throw that out there.
No, I would agree. I'm gonna fuck the Fiddler. I guess I'll marry Tevye because I don't want to marry Laser Wolf. Yeah. Even though he's got a nice house, I'm not. Sure. Even though his name is so cool,
I agree with you here.
I don't want to get haunted by Frumasera.
No, she's gonna get my ass.
Even if that was just a fake dream, even if that was just a tall tale, I still don't want to be sleeping in some other woman's bed. I don't want to take my chances. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, no. Tevye, I know, is going to try his hardest for our shared goals as a family, and he's a good backbone. That's the whole thing. I trust him. I love him.
And I'd want him to teach me how to do that dance. The stomping and the waving of the arms is like, it looks easy and then you try to do it and it's not. It's like, I'm like,
oh no.
I feel like I look crazy. Like, how do you look so like on beat and together while like flailing your body like that? It's quite impressive.
I think it's a confidence thing. You have to really lean into it. Yeah.
Have you ever seen, there's this great video of Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, and he's in the Doc Ock outfit.
With the arms,
and they're just like at a green screen, and it's like behind the scenes footage, and it's him singing, because he was preparing to be Tevye on some like Broadway revival. And which I also think Rosie O'Donnell was in, which is really funny to me.
Amazing.
Alfred Molina, I played Tevye, and it's like him doing the dance and singing "If I Was a Rich Man" in the Doc Ock outfit.
Of course. Yes, I have seen this.
So good.
That's brilliant. Ugh, he is very Tevye coded.
And then out of the whole movie, I feel like I'm going to marry Perchik. I'm going to be Hodel, and I'm going to marry Perchik, and I'm going to stand by my man while he does the revolution. And I'm going to get my ass out there and do the revolution with him. Yeah, they were my favorite couple, for sure. Perchik, the actor who plays Perchik, was really giving me, from Twin Peaks, Harry Truman. Do you know, like, the cop in Twin Peaks? I feel
Yeah.
I feel like they were giving me, like, similar, like, kind of broccoli hair.
Spiritually adjacent.
Yeah, energy. And then who am I going to kill out of everyone? I'm going to kill the cop, obviously. I'm going to kill the cop who's running them out of town. I'll kill the Tsar, actually.
Yeah, real.
I love how often they're, like, praying for the downfall of the Tsar. That one line that the rabbi... the rabbi's like,
is there a prayer for the Tsar?
Pray that the Tsar stays very far away from us. And then they all... and then that one scene, too, where they're all spitting on the ground. Every time anyone mentions the Tsar, they spit on the ground. Like, I just...
Oh, love it.
I love that.
It. Uh-huh.
And then, who am I gonna marry? I said I'm gonna marry Perchik. Who am I gonna...
Who are you gonna fuck?
Golda. I'm sorry, I don't think Tevye's getting it done. I don't think Tevye is paying any attention to that lady, and she seems high-strung. She needs to relax.
Golda's owed 25 years of orgasms, actually.
It's the least I could do.
Yeah, that's an excellent choice. I kind of want to marry Golda, honestly. I think we could build a very beautiful, successful life together. And again, I want to open a small business with her.
Yeah. You're going to be the dairyman. You're going to pull the cart when the horse has a bum leg.
I will. I will for her.
That's beautiful.
I also think their whole, oh my god, you don't get to see a lot of intimacy between these two, but I think the song, what is it, Do You Love Me, was, oh my god, that's immediately after intermission and just made me weep, dude.
Yeah, even the songs that aren't bangers, like I feel like in the second act, the songs aren't necessarily bangers, but they are like, they more like carry the emotional weight of the show.
Absolutely. I'm gonna fuck. Who is the last daughter?
Hava,
her man. I'm gonna fuck her man because he was pretty.
Yeah, Fiedka.
I get it.
He's gonna make you do some required reading first, and he's like, we have to have a discussion about our thoughts. I think we can
make that sexy.
But yeah,
I think we can make that sexy. Yeah, beforehand, a little reading foreplay.
I'll give him The Overcoat by Gogol.
Just rock his shit. And then I'm gonna kill. Who am I gonna kill? That's... I guess the cop.
Yeah.
There's not really anyone else that I want dead in this movie, you know?
The villain in this movie is more like the overarching concept of anti-Semitism, which is like
I'm like the matchmaker, but she didn't do anything that bad.
And she's hilarious. I wanna
exactly
throw down with that girl. Like
exactly.
She seems like a good time.
Do her thing. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, what do you follow this up with? Because I do think The Sound of Music has a strong case.
Yeah, we've mentioned both of these movies throughout our discussion, so I think it's obvious, both The Sound of Music and Little Women to me. If we're talking about like women having agency, and this movie is like we're opening the door a crack, and then I feel like Little Women is now like a more female-centered story, right? Whereas the daughters here are more like set pieces for us to evaluate Tevye. Now it's like with Little Women, it's like actually about the daughters.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously, I think my favorite version is the Greta Gerwig version, but any version of Little Women, I think, would be a good follow-up.
Have you seen the 90s one with Winona?
I have not. So yeah, I say...
It's pretty good.
I say Greta's my favorite, but it is the only one I've seen, so...
Yeah, Christian Bale playing...
hot.
Yeah, playing what's his name?
Timmy.
Laurie, too, is very good.
Maybe I'll add that to my list.
Get into it.
Get some Winona in my life.
I know. I'm trying to get... I'm trying to watch all the Alien movies, like, in a row, basically, or in order, and so I'm up to 4, and I really need to see what the hell she does in this, because all I know is she gets choked by what's her name, Sigourney Weaver at one point, and I said, okay, we gotta watch this now.
Yeah, I've never seen past 2, but I've seen a couple random ones like scattered throughout. Like I think I saw Prometheus maybe, and I saw
I'm really excited
Romulus.
for that one.
So yeah, like I've seen a couple of random ones, but I've never actually gone through. I should do that as well. It's just it's like you get to 3 and it's like 1 is great, 2
It's homework.
Yeah, one is phenomenal, 2 is phenomenal, and then it's like, oh, and then we're dropping off like pretty significantly.
Yes.
We're dropping off, and I just don't want to do that, you know.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's fun. On the inverse, you do get Sigourney Weaver with her shaved head, so it's a little bit of reward. But
will consider that in my future consideration of the Alien films.
But yeah, check in next week. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Yeah, and what do you give this out of 10? I'm gonna give it like an 8.
Oh my god,
slaps,
8, absolutely,
slaps.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I would say it would need to be better. It's a pretty model piece of media, especially when discussing a stage production, musical to movie adaptation. I'm like, this is a blueprint. Like, they really just don't do them like this anymore. And yeah, highly recommend if you've listened this far and you haven't seen Fiddler on the Roof. It is just a joyous. It is a joyous, especially if you're a musical person. It's just a really fun. But yet, like, educational and, like, heartwarming movie at the same time.
It's a well-rounded movie, that's for sure.
And yeah, I don't know what we're going to be up to next week, but leave us some comments with any whack movies or book-to-movie adaptations that you had to engage with in your time in school. I think we're mostly focusing on, like, middle and high school, because college, I feel like it does not really even count, but
yeah, that widens the thing
from an
too
audience,
much.
I'm definitely interested to hear any memorable or movies that you had to watch in the middle of the day on a Tuesday and that you were like, what the hell?
Shit that you're like, why the hell did they make us do that?
What the hell is this? But yeah, thank you for listening, and we will be keeping up. Oscar nominations come out tomorrow. So I'm sure there will be much to discuss. Golden Globes kind of sucked. I fell asleep during them, and then I was mad, and then I read who won, and I said, okay, I just need to move on from this. So, category fraud everywhere, but that's nothing new. And yeah, let us know what you think about that. If you've seen any good Oscar, if you've got, something you're rooting for, if you just hate the institution the way we do, but you still participate in it because it's like, I like to have.
If you want to talk shit.
Yeah, I like to talk shit
with me.
Real.
About Kevin O'Leary talking about how he wants to take over the Bond franchise. Oh my god.
Shut the fuck up. Oh my god.
I need an airstrike on that man's stat.
Josh Safdie has awoken a problem.
Something sinister.
Yeah.
This is going to be an issue for everyone.
And thank you for listening. And as always, have a lovely rest of your week and break some traditions. Or maybe keep them.